Welcome to all. Today we are going to discuss about the various methods and techniques of training. First, what do you mean by training? According to Edwin Fiplov, training is the act of increasing knowledge and skill of an employee for doing a particular job. Next, training methods and techniques. Training methods are generally classified by the location of the instruction. Training can be take place in various situations, on the job and off the job, in the company or outside of the company. It necessarily involves the use of number of tools, methods and techniques. The methods of training is generally classified into two. First one is on the job training and second one is off the job training. On the job training is the heart and soul of the all training in business and industry. On the job training, as it is known as or sometimes called shop training, is the most universal form of employee development. This is a traditional method of learning which is designed to maximize learning while allowing the employee to perform his job under the supervision and guidance of a trained worker or instructor, providing him practical application and making principles and concepts of learning meaningful and realistic. This is the most effective method of development applicable to all levels to a wide range of skilled technical jobs as well as supervisory and management development programs. Okay, the following are the main types of on-the-job training. The merits and demerits of on-the-job training. The merits: the trainee learns a actual machine in use and in real environment of the job. He gets a feel of the actual job. Therefore, he is better motivated to learn and there is no problem of the transfer of the training skills on the job. OGT is a type of training which can be tailored to suit the specific requirements of each trainee in terms of background, attitudes, needs, expectations, goals, and future assignments. This method is very economical because no additional space, equipment, personnel, or other facilities are required for training. The trainee learns the rules, regulations, procedures by observing the day-to-day applications. OGT is specific and practical and tangible. OGT is the most suitable for unskilled and semi-skilled jobs where the job operations are simple, easy to explain, and demonstrate within the short period of time. The supervisors feel greater responsibility and work more willingly and zealously for the development for their subordinates while importing the OGT. Demerits of OGT. In OGT, there is tendency to neglect, disregard, and even to do away with in some cases, the essentials of principles and theory in favor of immediate production. The another demerit is trainee while learning may damage the equipment, waste materials, cause accidents frequently, and also the workplace with the environment charged with the hustle and noise and the pace of skilled workers is most likely affect the learning and may create a feeling of frustration in the mind of trainee. And it also experienced workers cannot use the machinery while it is being used for training. The first method of on-the-job training is job instruction training. It is also known as step-by-step training or JIT. The technique of training was developed during the Second World War. It is four-step instruction process. In a job instruction training, the trainer explains the way of doing the things to the trainee and in case of mistakes and corrects the trainee. The JIT is basically used to teach the workers how to do their current jobs. A trainer, supervisor, co-worker can act as the coach. There are four steps involved in the process. The first one is the trainer receives an overview of the job, its purposes and desired outcomes with a clear focus on the relevance of training. The second step is the trainer demonstrates the job in order to give the employee the model to copy. The trainer demonstrates to him the right way of doing the job. The third step is the trainee is asked to copy the trainee's demonstration for effective study of the job. Demonstrations by the trainer and the practice by the trainee are repeated till the trainee masters the right way to perform the job. Finally, the employee does the job independently without the supervision, just like the trainer. Advantages of job instruction training. First, it promotes higher levels of employee safety. When new employees are properly trained, It promotes a safe work environment to everyone. Job instruction training includes testing and supervised experience to ensure each person operates equipment, assets, and machinery using the current best practices. That allows every person to follow the same steps when performing job functions, which reduces the number of potential accidents that may happen. Next, it creates higher levels of productivity. With an effective job instruction training program in a place, the new workers can go through 1 day intensive training and then begin to get the work. That makes it possible for the new workers to begin new projects without needing to wait for an assignment to come their way. It is cheaper than other training methods. For most new workers, job instruction training is paid on the job training. That means there is an incentive to show up for work. And it also maintain the best practices. Companies follow the best practices at multiple levels because it is the fastest, cheapest, and fastest way to complete the work. Job instruction training exposes new workers to these best practices, and it also simple method of learning. When the people are able to see tasks being performed, then can perform the same task themselves, then more information is retained than in other learning methods. And it also reduces the outside influences. Job instruction training reduces the need to hire outside consultants, trainers, or and experts to get your new hires up to speed on what they need to do. And it also gives new workers more confidence. When new workers start a project for the first time, their confidence levels will make or break the productivity they have. Confident workers will put their heads down to get the job done. And it also creates the systematic approach. When you have a specific procedures in place to follow the job instruction training, then you have create the systematic approach where everyone can learn the same way. And there is also some disadvantages of job instruction training. The first one is it still carries a training cost. No one is able to get away from training cost unless the new worker is already familiar with internal policies and procedures. And it is only as a good as the trainer. JIT requires a knowledgeable trainer for this process to be effective, and it also creates a time requirement which must be met. Job instruction training is most effective when a trainer works with a new employee until the skill or knowledge required of them is built to satisfactory level. And it also reduces the corporate control of the training process. JIT makes it easier for workers to pick up the bad habits that you might not want to have in the workplace, and it may create a disturbance in the workplace. When you have a when you have job instruction training take place, you will often have two working doing the job of one worker until the training is complete. And it does not prevent all accidents. The job instruction training does not prevent all accidents, and it can reduce the team productivity levels. For some firms, it may more effective to work a person short on a team than add a new member into mix. The job instruction training requires a project to be completed simultaneously with the training process. This divides the attention of the team, which reduces their productivity levels. Next, coaching. On the job coaching by the supervisor is an important and potentially effective approach. It is a kind of daily training and feedback given to the employees by the immediate supervisors. The coaching is truly based on the feedback system. It involves a continuous process of learning by doing. Coaching involves direct personal instructions and guidance, usually the extensive demonstration and continuous critical appraisal and correction. It has the advantage of the increased motivation for the trainee and minimization of the problem and the transfer of the theory of the practice. However, the method will lose its value if the coach does not possess uh, the effective skills, just like training skills and etc. And effectiveness of the coaching depends upon the patience and communication skills of the coach. He will have to, the coach will have to explain appropriate way of doing things, and he have to make clear why some actions are taken, and he has to state the observation accurately, and he has to offer the possible alternatives, and he have to give the suggestions whenever required, and follow up is required for the coaching. The main features of coaching is it is based on learn by doing, and it is truly feedback based system, and direct personal orders and instructions are the main feature of the coaching. Mentoring, it is a somewhat different form of training method. In mentoring, senior person in the organization assumes the responsibility for training as well as grooming of a junior person. A mentor acts as a teacher, guide, counselor, philosopher, exemplar, supporter, and facilitator of the junior person. The basic objective of the mentoring is to help an employee gain psychological maturity and effectiveness and to get integrated with the organization. Mentoring can take place both at formal and informal levels depending on the prevailing work culture and commitment from the management. A good mentor has to listen to the mentee and understand him and understand his problems, and the mentor has to challenge the trainee's intellect and simulate the learning processes. And he also be a effective coach, and he has to build self confidence, and he has to provide the wise counseling, and the effective mentor has to teach by examples, and he has to act as a role model, and the effective mentoring he has to share his job experiences. It will help the employee in difficult situations, and he has to offer encouragement to the trainees. And a person can learn a lot of from his mentor if and listens the mentor, and he has to act on the advice of the mentor, and he has to show some commitment to learn about the job, and he has to leave the ego at the door, and he has to ask to the mentor about his training performance. He also be open minded, and also be willing to change, and he has to be proactive in the training period. Mentoring in India is based on the time honored Guru Shishya relationship, where the Guru would do everything to develop the personality of the Shishya and offering the emotional support and guidance. Shishya, on the other hand, can do anything and everything for the Guru. Companies like Coca-Cola, Tisco have used mentoring systems to good effects in recent times. Next method is position rotation. Position rotation training is the broadening of the background of the trainee in the organization. It is also known as job rotation. If the trainee is rotated periodically from one job to another, he acquires the general background. He understands the larger organizational perspective and different functional areas. He attains a better sense of his own career objectives and interests. Rotation allows the trainees to build rapport with a larger number of individuals within the organization and facilitates future cooperation among the departments. The cross-trained person will more flexible in future in the case of transfers and promotions and replacements. In position rotations, the productive work suffers because of the disruptions caused by such changes. As specialization advances, rotation becomes less useful as few people have the technical knowledge and skills to move from one functional area to another. To get the best results out of this method, it should be tailored to the needs, interest, capabilities of the trainee and not be the standard sequence that all trainees undergo. Next, advantage of position rotation. The first advantage is it eliminates boredom. Only 32% of the employees are actually engaged at their jobs. That means 68 of employees are doing the bare minimum, plugging away at their computers or robotically talking to customers. Disengaged employees can be also lured away by promises of a better or more challenging job. Giving employees new responsibilities won't solve all your problems, but it could help the employees become engaged and prevent boredom. For the most part, employees becoming disengaged and their jobs is a gradual thing. By mixing up responsibilities, you could help break up the monotony of the jobs of an employee's day to day. Next advantage is it encourages development. Having a job rotation strategy helps the employees develop their skills. By learning more skills, employees will feel more valuable to your business. Employees who work at the company that encourages their development might not feel the need to change jobs. Instead of leaving your business for a new job that helps an employee develop, they can rotate the jobs. Next advantage is it gives employees a break from the job duties. Many industries that require heavy duty labor use job rotation strategies. Overworked employees who are constantly doing manual labor benefit from getting a break. By rotating their jobs, you help offset the risk of fatigue. For example, you could have a warehouse employee who lifts heavy packages for deliveries rotate to a job that handles the paperwork for shipping. The next advantage is it helps you identify where the employees work best. A job rotation strategy can point out an employee's strengths and weaknesses. You might find that an employee can better handle a different job at your business. For the most effective businesses, that you need to have all the employees in the right positions. Lastly, it gives you a backup plan if the employee leaves. Although the employee turnover can be expensive. Committee assignments. In this method, the trainees are asked to perform the special assignments and to solve the actual organizational problems. Sometimes a task force is created which consists of number of trainees representing the different functions in the organization. In this method, the trainees acquire knowledge about the assigned activities and learn how to work with others. They also understand the personalities, issues, and process governing the organization. However, the manager should very well understand that the committee assignments would become the notorious time wasting activities. Apprenticeship training. Apprenticeship training may be traced back to medieval times when those who wanted to learn trade skills used to bind themselves to master craftsmen to learn by doing work under the guidance. During the early periods, apprenticeship was not restricted to artisans only. It was used the training for the professions including medicine, law, teaching, etc. In today's organizations, apprenticeship training is a structured process by which the people become skilled workers through combination of classroom instructions and on the job training. It is widely used to train the individuals for many occupations. Many organizations have apprentice laws with supervisor plans for the such training. The second method of training technique is off the job training. In off the job training methods, the trainees have to leave their workplace and devote their entire time to training. A few off the job techniques are as follows. The first one is vestibule training, second apprenticeship training, third classroom training, internship training, conferences, role playing, program learning. And the following are the main features of the job training. First, simply off the job training comprises of a place specifically allotted for the training purpose that may be near to the actual workplace, and where the workers are required to learn the skills and get well equipped with the tools and techniques that are to be used at the actual work floor. There is a advantage of the job training. The first one is it is more like a classroom teaching, and it also uses the audio visual aids to the training program, and it is a error free production rates, and the method is more economical than on the job training, and it is also highly time saving technique than on the job training, and it also provide high productivity rates to the training. Advantage, it also have the disadvantage. The first is the method is completely ditched from the workplace, and it also causes the dissatisfaction from the trainees, and it may become non-effective in the actual contest, and in the time of training there is no production in the organization, and the quality of the training may be deteriorated, and the production already said the production may hinder. Vestibule training. In this method, the training center called vestibule is set up and actual job conditions are duplicated or simulated in it. Expert trainers are employed to provide training with the help of equipment and machines which are identical with those used at the workplace. This method of training is used primarily when large number of employees must train quickly as needed as a result of expansion of the business activities by firms or industries, although it is also helpful as a preliminary to on-the-job training. The following are the main merits of vestibular training. This method has the fundamental advantage of training number of the people in a short period of time without causing any interruption or disturbance in the normal flow of the work. The second advantage is the trainee can concentrate on learning without disturbance of the workplace noise. And this method is essential where on the job training might result serious injury and accident or the destruction of the valuable equipment and material. And it also permits the trainee to practice without the fear of being observed by the supervisor or co-worker, and it is a specialized supervisor method of instructions free from any pressures of getting out production, and this method provides possibility of frequent lectures or discussions or greater personal attention to individual trainees. Lastly, the interest and motivation of the trainee are high as the real job conditions are duplicated. Demerits. The use of this method is limits more or less those jobs in which there is a high turnover or there is a continuously increased demand for workers. The vestibule training is the most expensive method because the additional investment of classroom equipment and expert trainees is needed. And the training situation is somewhat artificial and the trainee does not get a feel of the real job. Apprenticeship training. The apprenticeship system is perhaps the oldest and most commonly used method for training in industrial crafts, trades and technical areas. In this method, theoretical knowledge and practical learning are provided to the trainees in training institutes. In India, the government has established industrial training institutes for this purpose. The aim of this training is to develop all-round craftsmen. Generally, the stipend is paid during the training period. Thus, it is an earn while you learn scheme. The main merits of this method is that it combines theory and practices. The trainee becomes productive immediately, and it also ensures the maintenance of the skills workforce. It greatly improves the workmanship, and also it fosters a sense of belongingness and loyalty in the minds of the employees and opens up opportunities for the growth and development. The main demerit of this training method is it is very time consuming and expensive. Many patients leave their training program midway as the training period extends from 1 year to 3 years. Classroom training. Classroom training is the traditional way of education which places the trainee in a classroom. Classroom training takes a place either inside the organization or at some external selected sites, maybe institutes, universities, or professional associates which have no connection with the company. The main aim of classroom training is to take the man away from his working environment to mix with in a similar position his own, and as a result with about changing his attitude and point of view capable of looking problems differently. Lectures, case studies, group discussions and audiovisual sites are used to explain the knowledge and skill learners. Classroom training is suitable for teaching concepts and problem solving skills. It also useful for orientation and safety training programs. It may be also include courses in retraining and upgrading. Internship training. In internship training, education institutions and business firms have a joint program of training. Selected candidates carry on regular studies for the prescribed period. They also work in some factory or office to acquire the practical knowledge and skills. This method helps to provide a good balance between theory and practice, but it also involves a long time period due to the slow process. Internship training is used in professional courses like MBBS, CA, ICWA, etc. Conferences. Conference is a favorite training method. Many organizations have adopted guided discussion type of conferences in their programs in order to escape the limitations of the lecture method. In conferences, the participants pool their ideas and experience to arrive at improved methods of dealing with the problems which is a common subject of discussion. Conference may include bus sections that divide a conference into small groups and intensive discussion. These small groups then report back their conclusions or questions to the whole conference. Conference method allows the trainees to look at the problems from a broader angle. However, unless the conference is directed towards the required needs of the participants, they may feel that the whole exercise is useless. Role playing. Role playing is a method of human interactions that involves realistic behavior in imaginary situations. Role playing involves action, doing, and practice. The trainees play the role of certain characters, etc. Example, the different position holders in the organization. By role playing, a trainee can broaden his experience by trying the different approaches, roles, while an actual practice, he has to only one role to play. Program learning. The programmed instruction is a step-by-step learning process that consists of three parts. The first one is presenting questions, facts, or problems to the trainees. Second, allowing the trainees to respond. Third is providing the feedback on the accuracy of answers. The main advantage of this method is it is reduces the training time and to also facilitate the learning since it lets trainees learn their own pace, and it also provides immediate feedback and reduces the risk of errors. The limitation of this method is, however, is that the trainee does not learn much more than would from a traditional textbook approach. The manager must weigh the cost of developing the program instructions against the potentially accelerated but not improved learning.